welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland. Tonight, we got Medium Katrina Cooper, and we're going to talk about shadow people, life as a medium or a sensitive. And tonight, we also have a special guest, Sandy, who has her own personal story about a shadow person experience. Last week, a couple episodes ago, I should say I had told my own shadow person experience. Actually, it was the demonic episode. But we'll talk tonight how that is somewhat different than the whole demonic experience. So join us here in just a few seconds, and we'll also have a World Wide Web of Weird segment coming up. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about life seeing things that other people don't see. All right, again, I talked about my own shadow person experience on this show, where I was assaulted for months by something I still don't understand. That at one point levitated me out of my bed and threw me down repeatedly until I had an experience, something that I think divine intervention, or I think my great grandfather intervened and saved me. So I've always been interested in this subject. So we have somebody on the night too. Her name's Sandy, who's been experiencing that. We'll get to her story in just a little bit. And then I also have Katrina Cooper, who's a medium. She lives in Texas. Right now she's currently in my own town, LaPorte. Well, actually she's mobile, I think. So I'm going to unmute our guest here, and we're going to get the show rolling. All right, and then I need to get Katrina. Why is it not letting me move? Oh, there we go. All right, you guys should be unmuted.
Hello, how's everybody?
Hi, Sandy. Let me get the screen going. Now, Katrina, can you still not hear Sandy? Sandy, go ahead and talk. We're having issues.
Katrina, are you there?
I hear her now.
Oh. Let's hope it stays that way. We have a feeling like something's trying to block these two from talking to each other, and I really wanted to bring them together tonight. All right, so we're going to talk. First, we're going to do our World Wide Web of Weird segment. This is where we cover the current UFO, ghost, crypto stories going on. I'm going to try to get through this quick because we got a lot to talk to about tonight. So I'm going to get the screen share back up. I just wanted to get a look at our guests for a moment, and then I'm going to get their stories tonight. All right, so let me pull up that screen share, and we'll get the World Wide Web of Weird going. All right, here we go. Coming in a second. All right, you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, a lot of UFO stuff tonight I got. First off, I want to talk about what's been going around the web is the black cube UFO everybody's been posting and talking about, and I have my own beef with it. So let me find that video really quick. I always keep trying to organize my videos, and I still always have problems finding the stuff I want to go. Here we go. All right, so black portal alien cube over Texas, Katrina. This was over Texas.
I've had my share over Texas.
Yeah, I bet. I've only had a few UFO experiences, and it was during a hot spot here. So here we go. Now, this right here, secure team. I want to say, because somebody brought it up, there's a lot of, they call them disinformation sites. I don't want to call you guys disinformation. I want to call them, we're going to put anything we see up on their website. Just to get as many likes and views as possible. That's their deal. That's fine. I show stuff I don't believe is real sometimes just to put it out there because people are talking about it, including this. So for people who have kind of criticized that I show some of these guys' websites, hey, they put stuff up that could be real at times, and then they put stuff up that's definitely fake. They're not censoring or filtering it out, and that's their deal. So here's one. Let's play the video.
Hey, what's up everybody? We've got a doozy for you guys today. The images that you guys are seeing right now were sent in to us by a source named Walter Stevens of El Paso, Texas, who thankfully snapped the images that you're now looking at of what can only be described as a massive three-dimensional cube-shaped UFO, which in the very first image can be seen shooting out.
I'm a Star Trek fan, and this totally looks like it came straight out of the Star Trek Borg.
Black hole
I was just going to say that.
in the sky and surrounding clouds. The source states that this black portal or hole in the clouds appeared within a matter of seconds, which is initially what caught his eye and made him do a double take at the clouds as he left his office for lunch at around 1 p.m. noon in El Paso. He said that it began to get very windy out, and he noticed a small portion of the clouds begin to swirl and circle in on one another, forming this portal shape, at which point the center of the clouds became jet black. Now this is when the source decided to hurry up and pull out his phone for a picture, and at this point the source had not seen any UFOs, and had simply wanted to image these anomalous cloud formations. But just as he snapped the first image, this massive-looking cube-shaped UFO is caught on the photograph, jetting out of this dark black wormhole manifestation and making its presence known. The source observed the craft, or entity, whatever this thing could be. He watched it move at a steady pace through the cloud cover, disappearing into the clouds and for a few short moments breaking back out once again, to mystify all those who might be gazing up from below, from the events that are transpiring. Walter was able to snap about 7 more images in attempts to catch the object on its exit from one cloud to another, out of which he successfully caught 2 more images of the actual object being visible, or partially visible, just as it starts to come out of a break in the clouds, which you can see in this second image here. Now, I am personally at a loss for words when it comes to this UFO.
Oh, get this on. So I'm a doubter on this one. I hate to be the downer, but sadly in the day and age of photo editing, if I had my friend Todd on here who's a photo guy, he'd probably be ripping this to shreds too. I'm not a photo expert, I'll say that right now, but I just have my doubts. It just looks too I don't know. This looks like somebody, really did a good job of, putting it in there and doing this is the parts that kind of, there's some, you see this kind of, there's like almost like they try to smudge it here on the picture where my arrow is. Just doesn't appear right to me. I don't know. Something's wagging the finger at me and saying no. Excuse me.
My first thought when I look at it, it reminds me of those crazy pictures that we saw after 9/11 was supposed to be in the clouds.
Yeah.
Making your interpretation. I'm looking on a small screen and it kind of looks like it could be a black hole.
It reminds me of the Dome of the Rock, Islamic.
Hello, Judy.
Birthday. Oh, we got Judy in now. Hey, Judy.
Hey.
Hey. We're doing our World Wide Web of Weird segment right now. So we're talking about the black cube UFO
Okay.
that's been going around the web, and my feelings that as cool as it looks, and as much as I'd like that to be real, I can't think that it is. But I can be wrong. I'm not an expert. So what's your feeling on it, Katrina? What would you say?
I never disprove or confirm, but I agree. I think it's a great editing project.
Right. All right.
That's my first interpretation, but without being there.
Yeah. It's a sad thing that we live in when it comes into researching the paranormal anymore, especially when it comes to UFOs, is that there's a billion people out there making fakes, and it's just you have to sort through the mess. All right, here's another one. All right, this one, not a fake in my opinion, but maybe misidentification. This floating morphine cloud, this was going around the web at the same time that this black cube thing was going around. They're talking about this. It floats through and morphs around. I got to point out this was taken during the July 4th weekend. Maybe some spectacular... somebody set off some kind of weird 4th of July firework that just left an amazing gaseous cloud. I don't know. It is weird.
Or
I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely weird, but I don't know if you can say that's a UFO or... Yeah. But it's weird the way it morphs. So this was going around. I wanted to address it. I'm going to have another night of UFO stuff and weird anomalous stuff, but this thing's got some...
Jason?
Yeah, I'm right. Yeah.
Does anybody else have major audio problems, or is it just me?
You're having trouble hearing?
Also, I don't have... Yeah, everything's all messed up, and I have no screen share.
Huh.
Judy sounds
I don't know if
like
anybody
she's
else has got that going on.
I can hear Judy, but yeah, I don't know.
Katrina sounds, or whoever's talking is real messed up to me, too, and I'm all echoes.
Katrina's doing it from her car, so she's on her 4G, and at times we have signal loss.
Oh, okay. But I can hear my own echo, too.
I think that's coming through on Sandy's end. I noticed earlier when it was just me and Sandy, she's getting a little bit, she's real time, like she's got a really good signal, but she's not wearing headphones, so I think we're hearing a little bit of what she's hearing.
And then all I can see is a little circle with Sandy's face in the middle. I got no screen share.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It might just be your
I'm going to try it now.
Okay.
And then get back on later.
We're not going to be playing a lot of videos tonight. We got a lot of photos to show, so I hope you do get your screen share working. All right, other thing.
Yeah, I want to.
Okay. Other thing there, just really quick, I want to cover on the World Wide Web of Weird. There was a ton of UFO videos that popped up during the 4th of July weekend. I have to point out, it's 4th of July, people are pointing fireworks, so it could be partly that. Let's hear some of them.
Caught my attention, and well, it's exciting. I can't believe it. Just happened to look up. It's slightly overcast, and I was debating on going in, and then I look over my shoulder, and lo and behold, I think it's
Now that's just hanging there. I mean, it's pretty cool. I thought this was out of the best of the 4th of July ones. I guess they shouldn't show the best first, but it seemed pretty odd, whatever this guy's filming. I don't think it's fake. It's very odd, though. No, definitely not. Yeah, you see blinking lights on it.
They remind me of the lights of Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah.
that triangle shape with a bunch of...
He said, you hear him talking, he's talking about it. It's a triangle shape, too, which there's been a lot of those. I talk about the military's TR-3B or something like that, test plane that people think they're seeing. I don't know. This one's got a lot of lights on it, though. All right, let me. I want to get through some of these other ones, but this I should have saved this one to the last. But this was one of the better ones. All right, let's see. There's Long Island. And there's the fireworks.
Oh my fucking god!
You can see the lights are very good, but they're right
Oh my
there.
god, it's like Invasion of the Aliens on Independence Day. Oh my fucking
This one's
god!
very excited.
Independence Day and the aliens have come. Holy shit.
You see them right here. There's these little lights, but you see the fireworks, but the lights
Yeah,
are
but
just staying right there.
yeah, but there's four.
Four of them. There's
I only
actually
saw three.
I would like to save
Yeah,
this
they're
out
right
to
here.
the stars.
Come here. Come here, Nikki. Come here.
right here. Come over here.
Yeah. Oh my god. You see the fourth one? See that right there? Holy shit. Quickly. And they're gonna make in a different formation. They're not exactly staying. Holy shit. I see it.
It's hard for the
Yo,
tell.
wait, go into the middle of the
Zoom it
street.
out.
One's out of here. One's gone. No, this is fine.
There's another one? No fucking way.
Sorry for the language, people.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, they're right by the fuck. Oh my god, what's the three up there?
Shit, dude.
Oh my fucking god.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
This is so fucking
Bro, that's
cool.
Orion's belt right there.
Oh my, look at the formations they're making. No fucking way. Do you believe now, babe?
What do you think, we're really fucking alone right now?
No, but one of them's gone. Look, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, the
faint.
The one to the right is already...
I know, but look, and that one's fainting away.
Yeah.
Shit.
Those two-
So another 4th of July UFO sighting there with a lot of F-bombs dropped on that one. All right, 4th of July, Denver.
Lights. Look at them. Look at them. I see them. There were 3. No, there were 2. There were 2. And then there were... No, dude. Look at them. Look at them. It's unnatural movement, man.
Well, put your camera at them.
There were just 2. No, it's not. There were just 2. And then there was a few more. And then, look, see, now one disappeared. And now, look, and there's another one just got brighter. Look at, dude. No. That's unnatural movement. That's not planes, dude. I can't get them.
It's that, and to me, if they're talking about that, that's light refraction. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he's looking at. I looked at this video and been trying to figure it out. If anybody's seen it and they understand it, tell me.
It's not planes,
They're
dude.
right there. There they are. That's right. There's a little lights. It's barely able to see it on this video.
It's not fucking planes, man.
And there's more F-bombs. Yeah, they're there. 3 lights.
Look at them.
And then that's a plane.
Do what? Look, see the plane going by? Those are not planes, man.
Would it be appropriate to point out that we're talking about the state that legalized marijuana usage?
Todd coming in with the got to nail the states because they got legalized marijuana. Just because they got legalized marijuana doesn't discount their UFO footage, Todd. Hey, Todd, how's it going? All right. So that was it. Oh, and I had one more thing I kind of wanted to show really quick because I thought this was pretty cool. This was top secret UFOs leaked, huge Arctic UFOs. And then I'm done with UFOs from the World Wide Web. After this ad.
And I was digging on Goose Attack Cloud, so I'm not all against them.
Well, I played that. Past this guy's intro stuff. It's like, come on, just show me the good stuff.
Mistretta said that he had been told that the photos were taken from an American submarine that was being driven by Admiral Dean Reynolds. This information appears to be correct. Commenter Bill Smiley suggested that all pictures is about the same object and that it was able to change shape.
I think this was they were supposed to be taken in the
Nigel
80s.
Watson said about the images, this is an odd collection of photos of UFOs, appearing on a regular basis by witnesses from all over the world. Cigar-shaped objects are escalated since '86, when there were ghost ships spotted anywhere in the United States. So, do you think they are authentic? Is it possible they have a secret UFO base in the Arctic? Is there a link between Hitler's UFO research and UFOs in Arctic?
But you know, Hitler's hanging out in the Antarctic with aliens. I joke, but you know, there's a lot of theory on that.
The moon.
And the moon. There's a great movie on that, actually. It's on Netflix, Iron Sky. It's just hilarious. Okay, all right. So I had a lot of UFO stuff, and I wanted that. So I'll skip the Bigfoot thing tonight. That's actually from a couple of years ago. It's nothing. I don't have anything recent on the cryptoid front, but Josh, our president of our group, did have this cool video. California man claims he captured mother's ghost on video. All right, I thought it was a picture, but here we go.
A California man claims he captured his mother's ghost on camera. Craig Scher has the camera eyeing his pets while he's at work. The image you're seeing there comes from that video. He thinks the bright flash is his mother, Doreen, who died 4 years ago.
She used to stand with her left hand on her left side and her right arm always to her right leg. She'd wake up in the morning and not really care about what her hair looked like. And in this image that I saw, her hair was just everywhere.
Cher says one of his dogs just died, and it happened to be the dog that his mother had been attached to.
Oh, Josh posted that. I thought that was an interesting picture.
Very, very possible.
Yeah. All right, so let me get the screen share back off here, and we'll start out with Katrina. Let me introduce everybody to everybody here. So tonight I got Katrina Cooper, medium from Texas, who's currently hanging out in LaPorte County area. Where are you right now?
I'm in this undisclosed area.
Undisclosed area. She's in her car. This is a first. And then we got Sandy here, who's going to have a great story and some great pictures to go along with it about shadow people. That's one of the main subjects tonight, and also the subject of being sensitive and being able to see things other people don't see. Because I had a time in my life where I was seeing a shadow person, not out of the corner of my eye, which is a lot of people's experience, but right in front of me at different times, and it was very frightening. And
Jason,
no.
Did you get that picture?
Yeah, actually, I do. I see it. Yep, this is your notes.
No, talking about the shadow man that I sent you.
Get to that. Yep,
Right.
I got that. I got that ready to go.
I'm getting a little.
And then my regular co-host here, Todd Reinhardt, he's a photographer in LaPorte County, and we've investigated his photo studio, which has a lot of activity. And then Judy Friedel, she is one of my co-investigators in Midwest Paranormal, and my right-hand lady on investigations beside my wife. The two people I investigate most with are my wife and Judy. So I depend on her a lot.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I watch
You're breaking up. Hold it up. Hold that mic up, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of echo.
You're breaking up, Katrina.
So that's just my audio.
No, it's Katrina. She's been at times where she's been really good. She's probably going to hop back on here in a second, darn it, because I wanted to start out with her. She had really good audio going there for a little bit right before we started. She hopped back on. She's doing it off of 4G, so hopefully she's going to hop back on here in just a second.
Jason, you have something hot because we're getting here. Everybody's echoing.
It's echoing, but it's from Sandy's line. She doesn't have
headphones on. Tad's echoing too. So am I.
For the moment, hey, Katrina, or Sandy, I'm gonna have you mute yourself. That way, when I get to you, we'll just focus on you, and I'll have everybody else muted so there's not so much echo.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, you there, Katrina?
I am. Can you hear me?
Way better.
Okay, I'll just go in and out.
Okay, we're going to go with you first, especially while we got you going. I'm going to pull the screen share up. While I do, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm just an ordinary person. I'm a mom first. And my whole life, I have been told that my visions were my imagination. I started jotting down and taking my own pictures, which to verify and prove to myself I wasn't crazy. And the past 2 years, I've been helping a lot of friends and people. Their messages just help them in their life, and it's a fulfilling feeling. That's why I'm continuing.
Okay. And where can people contact you at?
My website is Facebook. I don't charge. I only donations. I rely on everybody's work on their friends. It was amazing when fulfilling. Words are so I really don't know how to explain it. So when you bring together that, for example, there was a young lady that was adopted. She literally, her mom just didn't want her. However, her mother passed away, and I was able to inform this young lady. Her mom was her whole life. The time she heard reading in the bank and first care, all these little areas, mentioned her surgery has had, aiding her in her health. And to let the lady know that she wasn't thrown away, her mother along surgery. A fantastic. I could see those coming.
You're still breaking up a little bit, like you come in and then you go out. I can still hear you, but then you become really tinny. I'm starting to wonder if we should try unplugging your headset altogether and just see if the mic on the phone's better. You want to give that a try?
Sure.
Yeah, I can't make out anything that's been said.
I can hear her, but I'm wearing headphones.
So am I.
Oh. You there, Katrina?
But I don't.
All right, it's not that. You can plug your headphones back in. It's the signal.
Yeah. I'm getting the same echo.
See, I'm not hearing any echo on my end, darn it.
Is anybody else hearing this? Is it just me?
No, I'm hearing it as well.
Oh, great. So everybody else on the show end's probably hearing the echo.
Yeah, I was having a hard time deciphering what you were saying.
Tad, are you hearing an echo from me?
I'm hearing it from every including myself, except for Jason.
So
Yeah, same here.
So I'm not echoing.
No.
Weird. See, I tell you, Murphy's Law.
Am I the only one in there?
Are you there, Katrina? Who is that, Katrina or?
It's me.
Yeah.
I don't see nobody.
You might have lost your picture.
There. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I hear you better at the moment.
Good. I'll just let me know when it gets crazy, and I'll.
I just realized everybody else is muted. Hold on. So we haven't heard anybody else.
I've muted myself to defeat the echo or attempt to.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about, if we got you there, Katrina, this first picture.
I'm here. This is a picture of the historic hotel in Texas. It had lots of history. And I have Stinky Bob fleeing from me. His name is Stinky Bob. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but you're cutting out still. Yeah.
Sorry. His name is Bob. He killed young slave boy that he raped. And you can smell him. He's a horrible fellow.
I see where it's feeding back. It's like everything that you guys say is coming back through my line.
Better?
You sound better at that moment.
I'll talk.
Yeah, Jason, it's doing the same it did in the past. It's feeding back through and it's showing as your audio.
Let me try something. Hold on. See, I went and rechanged my whole setup to try to fix that, and it would work, and then it went right back to it. So hold on. Let me try something. All right.
I'm going to go ahead and blame myself because it seems like every time I show up, it does this.
Do you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Did it stop?
Hey, the echo went away.
Okay, I tried something different, but it's back to the same damn deal. I will not be able to hear any audio coming from myself, or if I did any EVPs, which is fine. I'm not doing any EVPs tonight, so it only sucks when I do EVPs, so hopefully that fixed the problem. Because it's this little button, 2 tracks to mix, that does it. So I'll have to play around with how to get around that again. All right, so we had this photo here at the hotel that she took. Let me get up here. It's kind of like a little blob slimer thing going on.
Where is that hotel?
In Texas.
Liberty, Texas.
Yeah, Liberty, Texas.
Okay.
In fact, I've been there about 8 times this past. You have a picture of Abigail.
Yeah, you're totally cut out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hi, Judy.
Hi.
Yeah, we wondered how it would go with 4G. It's partly this. It's mainly the signal that's doing it. She had some other.
It's my signal that's messing everything up. I'm sorry.
Not everything up. It's not you. There's
Sounds
a feedback.
pretty good now.
Yeah, it's not. It's not you. It's the for the echo. That's my end. That's not you. All right. This is your. We were talking about your shadow man.
Well, that's not the shadow man.
That's
this
not?
picture, no, this picture, if you look in the mirror, it's a little girl. Her name's Abigail.
Right there. That's right. That's right.
Harris part, she has a cloak on. She was ran over by a horse and carriage in 1800s.
Now you cut out again. But yeah, a little girl got ran over by a horse and carriage at the hotel, and I got a video to play on the hotel here if we have time. But yeah, you can, if you can see it. I don't know how well it comes on everybody's screens. I got it on my big screen here. You can see her face right here. Is that right?
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I like the cloak. Yeah. All right. Not trying to rush through these too much, Katrina, but with the sound problems and that, I'm trying to get to so we can get to Sandy's story too. Okay.
Go ahead. No problem.
Okay. But I want to show your pictures. You had some really cool ones. All right. So this one I have two. I did a zoom in on this. This is what's right here.
There's a few items in there. If you take above, there's also a shadow man behind above that mask-looking mask.
This here?
Yeah, that's a mask. And then up above, do you see there's a dark figure? Yes.
Yeah, I got it zoomed in here.
Do you see the dark figure that's behind him? That we have about 3. And off to the right of what you just looked, you can see another person is in the, and I put in quotations, the portal.
Right.
That's what they call it.
Okay. All right. This thing here?
There's people, all of our people are there, so I can't quite see it. There we go. Yeah. Now that right there is, this place was built on top of, and very known of, I forget the name of the Indians, but they...
Yeah. I think there's a video I show it talks about it here, if I can show it here. All right. And then we had this one. I did a zoom in on this one too, right here down in the hallway. That's the shadow man.
12 feet, high ceilings, and the first part of the room is at least 25 to 30 feet, and then they added on, which is another 20 to 25 feet worth of rooms, and it's way down there, and it's floating. So I had a very bad feeling, and I'm sure that this is going to come up with our readings. Shadow people, they don't feel demon. They don't feel like they've been human. They just sort of have this emptiness and eerie.
That's how I felt about them, yeah.
Yeah, and literally when I took the picture, and that was on a whim, something I didn't actually see with my eyes.
I'm going to do the zoom in.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, you can almost see like there's little hands or something here too.
I'm not quite sure, but I do know that shadow men are usually described in a cloak or in a black hat. And then having the feeling that I had, and they have many shadow movements at this hotel. So this was one of my wonderful pictures I like.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You might have been going through this, but I couldn't make it out. But are all shadow people that seen, most of them abnormally tall? Because anyone that I've heard about or seen, they're very big.
There are little shadow people.
I think that's floating.
Yeah, the one I experienced was tall, but there are little shadow people too that have been experienced, I have to say, and there's been a lot of videos
Yeah, I've
out there.
seen little shadow people in my house, one little shadow person.
Ghost Hunters has a great capture that they got of a shadow person running behind I think it was a pool table or something. It was, I love the footage they got. It was many years ago. All right, let me
4 feet, like they're crawling around. It's just a little.
There's also the Crown Point jail. They had the shadow slithering kind of thing, and they saw the hand slither down from the ceiling, right, Judy? Was that?
Yeah. My daughter saw the hands come down from the inside the cell.
Yeah, Ricky saw it too.
Coming down, and then I saw when everybody was locked up in cells. I call them creepers. I don't know. It was like swirling around my feet, and then it went up the wall onto the ceiling.
Judy, that's exactly what I was thinking. They seem to be crawling on their feet and their arms, and they're small.
Yeah.
That's a perfect. We're calling them creepers. I love that.
A creeper, yeah, because that's what they were doing.
All right. Well, now we're talking about shadow people. I want to get to Sandy here, who's been experiencing this even last night. She didn't get to bed till 5 a.m., I think is what she said. We're going to bring Sandy on. So, Sandy, go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm going to get rid of the screen share for a minute. You there, Sandy?
I am.
Awesome. Hi, Sandy. So you've been experiencing this, and you have quite a long story to tell. That's why I wanted to get through this, and the rest of the night is pretty much going to be about this. And it's an incredible story, and I wanted everybody to kind of hear it. So how do you want to start? Where do you want to start at?
Well, just to introduce myself, I do consider myself a sensitive. I don't consider myself a psychic or a medium. But I can hear, and I can talk to them if they choose so. I'm not quite sure where to start, because this has been an 11-year battle almost. So it's going on 11 years.
Wow. So what was the first instance with a shadow person that you had?
Well, the first real instance that I really could, I didn't see him, but I could feel him, and it was very depressed, almost heavy, and that was in my husband's grandmother's house. Was my first instance. I really did not, and it wasn't like I could just go and try to talk to them, being that it was a very religious household.
Right.
But I did pick up on the lady that had passed away there in the room that we were in as well. But they did confirm that her. But I couldn't talk to them about anything else, because if I talked to them about shadow people, they either would have thought I was nuts or I needed an exorcism. So I saw him and realized that he was attached to my husband when we moved into our own place. And me being who I am, I don't know, me being who I am since my grandfather pointed it out, I have taught myself over the years on how to clean stuff like this out of your home and everything else. I did everything right, including having a shaman friend come in, cleanse my home. I cleansed it myself, and I also had my pastor from my church come in, and that's when he was throwing me down the stairs. I got thrown down the stairs at least 3 times. He's not nice. He's very physical.
Yeah. that's the real danger of these things is that I experienced is that it could physically touch you and lift it lifted me up off my bed and threw me down. So that told me that there's something crazy about it. That this is dangerous. That they can affect you that way. So your husband, let's go through your husband's experiences and what that led up to.
Well, he told me his first experience with this particular shadow person was when he was a small child living in a 100-year-old farmhouse. And he heard somebody say his name. When he repeated it to me, he repeated it in the exact voice, because my husband, being that he was a musician, could articulate what he exactly heard. I could tell you, if I would have heard that, I don't think I would have made it.
So what did it sound like? I know you can't do it the way he did, but
very deep and raspy, very dark, almost malevolent sound. But he could repeat it exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm sure something like that stuck with him the rest of his life.
Right, and that was his first experience, but it kind of followed him through life. And before he even met me, he had gotten into a freak car accident, broke his back. In the process, had problems with, just bad luck all the way around. Lots of stories I could go through about just him and his luck.
And I felt during my experiences, when you told me this story, I was like nailing home on so many things I felt in just the short time I experienced. I didn't have a whole childhood experience with it, but just the 3 months, 4 months that I experienced this, I had extremely bad luck.
Right, and he was more, I know he was in tune to it, but I could also tell when it wasn't my husband anymore. This thing really had a way of grabbing a hold of him and changing him.
Well, at the end of this, I'm going to go over some of, we lost Katrina. Hopefully she comes back. And I was just going to say, she sent me some notes of stuff she'd been feeling before we started the show. And I got to say, she's nailed a lot of this already. So we'll talk about it. Hopefully get Katrina back. She really nailed some things, and some things you haven't even talked about yet. I just noticed, and I didn't tell Katrina anything about you or what's going on. I didn't even tell her your name. So, and she's got some stuff here we're going to talk about. She might be like, oh my God, like ding, like she nailed something. We'll get to it in a second. So go on. So he's experiencing this. He's had it through his life, and then you guys get married.
Right.
And you notice he's got this attached to him. So what were your experiences in that relationship, in that marriage?
My experiences personally with his shadow person, it took offense to me, and it was very physical with me. Excuse me. But his children, I was more worried about his kids, because his kids started seeing it, and they could, and it was almost like it would watch, because his kids would go, "You see him?" And we'd all look, and I could see him yet. It became pretty bad, and I watched my husband lose his kids. I watched him lose his home, and I watched him lose his mind.
Yeah. So at one point you told me you did, I'm going to call it a cleansing on him. Right? You consulted with somebody, a shaman, I think, was it?
Yes. Yeah, a friend of mine in Sedona, Arizona. He's a shaman. His name is Tom. He told me what to do. I was more apt, because he said that you really can't get rid of these shadow people due to their nature. So he told me that I should trap it and get rid of it. So I was trying to do that. I never got to.
I know. Sadly, the story did not end very well with your husband. He passed away.
Yes.
Now, are you willing to talk a little bit about how that happened?
Well, I mean, it was 3 days before we were supposed to do the cleansing to rid him of it. He kept complaining that he didn't feel well all day, but he was okay. What I saw, I will never, ever forget. Because when he started going into cardiac arrest, it looked like his soul was being ripped out of his body. I mean, he was arching, and he was pushing against something.
Right. And that's a scary thought. I mean, a lot of skeptics out there are going to be like, well, it just happens to be coincidence that he had a heart, but he was only 39 years old, right?
Correct.
And did they know if he had any heart conditions before this?
No, they never did.
Yeah. So I find that kind of odd. And I've heard other stories similar to this, either in the demonic field or in the shadow person field, which I, like Katrina said earlier, I do feel are two separate things, but they're similar. This was one similar thing, is that people get ready to get rid of this or have a cleansing and suddenly fall very ill or die, heart attack or strokes or aneurysms. It's something I've researched a lot, because once this happened to me when I was 17, it changed my whole perception of the world. I mean, I always had seen weird things as a kid, but I always felt these things can't hurt you. Maybe they can touch you a little bit, but these things can't hurt you. And I was a cocky little 17-year-old that challenged one of these things, and I found out the hard way that, yeah, they can hurt you and they can mess with your head. And I felt like I killed my cat. Even my cat died of mysterious circumstances. And so there's something very... And when I studied it, I went to the demonic, as the only first scene to really kind of get an idea. And I'm like, I'm not having all these things that, what happened to me that I felt were demonic. But it definitely was dark, and it definitely felt evil. So I've always thought that they are two separate things, very similar, but there are some differences, I think, sometimes between the demonic and the shadow people. And me and Katrina had talked about this. By the way, Katrina, you went out right when I said, I'm looking at your notes you sent me, and you've nailed things I know about her that I've not told you. And
awesome.
We're going to get to here soon, because right now, Sandy, you're going through this right now. I mean, this scene's now attached to you. Right?
It is.
I was going to say it's going to run in the family.
Yeah.
Well, it also gave me another one. That's when I wanted to answer Judy's question when she said, are all of them tall? No, I have a tall one and a short one. So I think their height depends on how old they are. They almost grow like we do.
I never thought of it that way.
I look at it a little different, Sandy. I look at it in like their position in their society. I think the littler ones are minions, so to speak, like they're slave.
I kind of thought that too sometimes. You guys remember, I hate to reference Ghost Hunters again, but they were in a jail, and there's this little... There's a camera on a balcony, and this little robed figure walks right up to the camera and then walks away.
And I know the episode.
Yeah, you know the episode, and a movie that always not many movies scare the crap out of me, but one movie that just gave me weird feelings when I ever watched it was Phantasm. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen that. Todd, I don't know if you've seen that either. It's an 80s movies. They had like 4 or 5 sequels. Yeah.
The a legend.
Yeah, and you remember the little people, like the little minion guys? That's what I felt. Yeah, well, that's what I felt like about little short shadow people. And I didn't have that experience. My shadow person was tall, but maybe he didn't have a minion. And I'm not trying to make light. This is a very serious subject. I on the demonic episode, I treated it very seriously. I want to treat this very seriously for investigators out there, because this is a show for investigators and anybody, but really for investigators. And that if you feel like you're dealing with somebody like Sandy here that's dealing with this, it's a serious situation. Me and Sandy have consulted a little bit, and after the show, our relationship shall not end. I'm here for you, Sandy, awesome. Whenever. So your husband, he had a heart attack and died, and you feel like it's attached to him. Now we have some pictures. Warning to viewers. Now we have a picture of her husband. His face is blurred out. His whole head, so you won't see him, but it is him in a glass casket, right?
No, he's not in a casket at all.
No, I just there's glass behind him.
Huh?
What is he in? Because there's like glass around him, right?
No, he's just on a table with a black sheet on underneath and then a black sheet on top.
So there's no glass behind him at all?
No.
I really thought, well, it could be a reflection or something, you know. Wow, this makes the picture more incredible.
That's why I said I went back to the funeral home and I looked at the exact spot they allowed me to do so. There's no way.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna pull up the screen share and we're gonna show this picture to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here. And she also sent me some pictures just right before the show that are incredible. And we're gonna get into that story here in a second too. So let me get my screen share back up. All right. You guys see the screen share?
Yes.
All right. So this is the picture. I do a zoom in here, but this is the picture of her husband on you said she's on a black table, right?
It's just a table with a black velvet sheet. That's all they put him on.
And what we're talking about is right here. And to me, it's like there's almost like a robe or something going on here, but you almost see a face right in here too. It's very odd. Let me pull up the zoomed in version. Yeah, I see that. This is the zoomed in version.
Looks like it's moaning.
Yeah, I felt that too. Now, Todd, you're my photo guy, and I know you were like, you want the raw footage and everything, so you're not going to give like a full opinion on it. But do you have any opinion on this at all, or?
Well, I'm familiar with the photo. So,
yeah, I know. He's the one that blurred this out, actually. Todd did this. And like I said, he never would do this without Sandy's permission. Sandy asked for us to not show her husband's face. So Todd, being a good friend of mine here, blurred out his face for us.
Yeah, and absolutely, without question, I'd do that for somebody.
Yeah.
I see it could be matrixing in there to my brain. I've got a face that actually looks similar to the deceased in a way to me, but it's that I was picking up multiple things in that. Like
yeah.
A few layers of images of my brain, and again, that could be matrixing.
I know, but I felt that way too. But it's incredible. It's sad the retro, in retrospect of what the picture's being taken of, and you wonder what the meaning of it is. Being that this is his death picture. I mean, it could be matrixing, like Todd said, but I almost see like faces here. It's hard to say, but there's something anomalous about it. It's not something normal that should have showed up in that picture, right? In my opinion.
Yes, I see like long white hair.
Yeah, this here, like, it could be hair, it could be robe. I don't know. It's very anomalous. It's very weird.
Yeah, I picked this out immediately, and then as I looked at it, it seemed like it was like layers of multiple things, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Sandy too sent me some other pictures. This happened how long ago, Sandy? We're gonna pull up this now, and this goes.
Yeah, this happened on the day that I sent you the email. The night that you got the email with all the pictures. This is when this happened. And this, I still don't know what this is. And nobody had come in my room. Nobody had touched it. My dogs are not tall enough to get there.
I wish I could show what Katrina sent me, because one of the first things on the top of her list of notes she wrote down, she wrote coughing or spitting blood. And that's one of the major things of this, is this blood that showed up out of everywhere. So I thought that's a pretty good ding or hit. Now, we talked, Sandy, you said your...
Thank you.
That's a major hit. Sandy, you talked about your grandmother, or no, your husband's mother or grandmother lived in that house and had a blood issue?
His grandmother.
Okay.
She had problems with her legs. She actually was pretty close to death when they put her in hospice.
Did she have gout?
What's that?
By any chance, did she have a problem with gout?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yes.
That's on my list too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. It is right here. Foot, RT, growth, or gout. She's got that right here on her list.
That would be his grandmom.
Yes.
Wow, that's another huge ding. That's incredible. So I kind of picked up on that too. I had my own little sensitive thing. When me and Sandy talked, I felt that when I saw the blood that there was somebody who had passed away in the house, had some kind of blood issue when I first saw this. And this was her cabinet drawers where she kept her medicine, you told me, right?
Yes, she kept all of her medications in there, including her dressings. When the nurses would come in, that's what they pulled our stuff out of to clean our legs.
And now,
can I ask what the situation with this picture was? It
you were home all day, right, Sandy?
I was home all day. This is my room, my office, my living room, everything.
Here's another picture of it.
This particular item I've been using for art. I don't have a color or paint that color, I'll tell you that right now.
It looks like blood to me. I mean, straight up, it looks like blood.
And this is, and it wasn't there all day, because I had even walked over to it, but I hadn't. It wasn't there all day. I came in and was sitting here, and my dog started kind of acting funny, and I looked, and there it was. And then I saw it in other places, so it was like it wasn't just in one spot.
Now, is this?
Were you the only one home that day?
No, everybody else was at home as well, but they're not allowed. They don't come in my room without my permission. This is my personal space. I did talk to them and ask them if they came back here, especially my husband's two little sisters, and they both said no, they did not. I had been in my room all day other than trips to the restroom. That's it.
I have to ask you this. Where do you think your most watched feeling is?
Where I'm most watched?
Yeah, you feel like you're being watched the most.
The backyard.
The backyard, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going off of some of the things that Katrina said. I mean, she had bathroom down for that, so that's why I asked.
Okay, well, I want to tell you, I want to confirm something for Katrina. Coughing and coughing up blood. The only thing that has not been, and I did mention this to you, Jason, although my husband did not have a heart problem, he had diagnosed COPD.
Oh, I forgot you told me that. I actually forgot about that.
And he coughed up blood often.
I got that on my list about sleep paralysis, feeling held down. I also felt scratchy throat, whether it was it feels like screaming very much, or if you talk too much in the throat. I also feel like there was a lot of talking and tossing and turning during the night, which unfortunately, that's a lot of times we don't realize spirit or whoever is malicious trying to talk to us because our subconscious is being manipulated. But Jason does have that list in there. I believe you can clarify that I did have that listed.
Yeah. Do you want me to go down the list of stuff you wrote?
It doesn't matter. I like to be able to show that.
Well, you really nailed it, I think. I mean, dead on. So, right on the top of the list, she had coughing or spitting blood. Then she put a star, night attacks in bed, paralysis moments, bathroom, ? Most watched feelings. Smell. Do you smell Italian cooking? That's one of the things on our list.
Why you're laughing? Yeah, you see, it does, right? Okay, good. I'm glad.
It's not that I smell it. That was his favorite smell.
Oh, that's a huge ding.
Whenever I cooked Italian food, he'd sit in here and he'd sing Italian songs because he loved the smell so much.
And he loved that you would use the fresh ingredients.
Correct, I did. He even helped.
Pennsylvania, right?
What's that?
You're in Pennsylvania. I did not know you.
Yeah.
Correct.
And let me stipulate again, anybody coming in to watch the show, I did not tell Katrina anything about Sandy. I didn't even tell her what was going on. I just said I have a person that's going to be on the show that's going through a lot of things spiritually right now. I didn't, all I might have mentioned is that it had a little bit to do with shadow people because of my experience, and that was it. I didn't even tell her name. So she didn't know her name. She didn't know where she was from. She had no information. And these notes she took, beforehand, she, was trying to send them to me way before. These are, to me, dead on. In our group, we have a lot of people in our, they're like, psychics, mediums. We work with paranormal investigators. They get very skeptical of psychics and mediums. Me, I'm not so much because I've had my own personal experiences where I've had insights. I don't dwell down that path, but I do have a belief in it. You just can't get more better than that. It's dead on to me.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you so much, Katrina.
I have some personal things that you and I need to speak on.
Right.
Absolutely.
We will have to get our phone numbers together because there's some special things that I need to talk to you about, and it's personal.
Katrina, do you want me to give her your phone number?
Absolutely.
Later?
Actually, put my number on for everybody. This is what I do.
The phone number you text me with?
That's my work number. Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll give it out.
I travel to the United States.
All right, you want me to give it out on air? That's up to you.
Not a problem whatsoever.
Okay, well, I'll send it to you again, Sandy.
Okay, I did.
So you'll have it, but I'll give it out on air for Katrina. Her phone number is 281-235-3803. I'll say it again, 281-235-3803. And if you get a chance, I know it's hard for you because you're doing this off your phone, Katrina. I don't have your website. I'd like to be able to tell people your website
it's
actual
just
address.
It's free. It's Facebook. I use free. I don't charge nothing, so
right.
I take donations only, guys, and it's to let everybody know they have no other intention but to help.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to go down the list a little bit more. You got a few more things on your list here, just to see if you caught any more other things. I got stay in night clothes.
Yeah, I feel like the person would get so depressed that they wouldn't even change into their everyday. They just stayed in their sleep clothes, and I feel like it's weeks on end.
Yeah.
All right, okay. That's another ding. Nasal ? Nose.
Yes. Oh, so look at her. She got it. Yeah. There's just something about the nose. I don't know if it.
I don't know what nose he's talking about, but I can honestly tell you that. Yeah, he had sinus problems. I got
dripping and stuffy, but I feel like it's just be talking and drip out of his nose, or
yeah,
a little bit of snorting.
Yeah, lots of nasal spray.
Yeah,
awesome. That's fantastic. Not for you, but for me on my end.
Right. So the last two things that you had on the list were the foot ? Growth or gout.
Right. I wasn't sure if there was a bunion on the right foot. I feel like there was a growth that was occurring. I even feel like it gave him a little pain. Maybe like a bone spur. Does that make sense to you? That's what I was feeling.
He had a plantar's wart on the bottom of his right foot.
Wow.
There it is. I put right foot 2 down.
Yeah, she did. Right foot.
It was his right foot, and he felt like he always felt like he was walking on rock.
Yes.
Wow. So the gout thing, with his mother and with him, I don't know, his grandmother. It might have been more him, because everything here, it seems, going down the list is him. It's him. That he's trying to come through. Is that what I'm getting here, Katrina?
Yes, and that's why I need to speak with her personally.
Right.
I'm hoping that you realize that the message that I have for you, Con, is coming from my heart and his.
Okay.
And then we have the last thing is I can't read your writing on this last one. Something about throat and burn, but I can't read the first word.
I don't have it with me. I told you couldn't read it.
Yeah, Crately, or I can't.
I'd have to go for a break. I'll have to get it and
Okay.
get right back.
It's
Sorry.
something with throat and burn.
What was the spelling?
Oh, I felt like there was that's it, his throat burning. It kind of feels like a loss of air.
Yes.
You know, like it would be like it would take time to get that shallow breathing and
Yes.
just raspy,
Yeah.
dry, really dry, and concentrate the saliva to, you know.
Can you repeat that? You're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, Katrina. You were doing good, and now you're breaking up.
I'm going to go ahead and log off and come back on, okay?
Okay. She's on 4G, people that are listening. So we're trying to do this. Katrina's not at her home in Texas. She's nearby. So we're trying to do this through this. I did this. I would have waited if I had any other circumstances. I would have said, you know what, Katrina, we'll wait till you get back to Texas and we'll do the show. Make sure we get you good signal through your home and all that. But when I heard Sandy's story, I was like, something told me I need to get these two women together. I really felt, and this is before I even met Katrina. I had just talked to her on the internet. But I felt like I needed to get these two people together. And then I met Katrina in person, and I really felt like I had to get them together because she impressed me quite a bit when we met. She nailed some things for me personally quite a bit. So I was like, okay, if there's somebody who can help her, maybe this lady can. And that's what I want. This show is about evidence and stuff, but I also want to help people. That's why I'm an investigator. And I cannot wait to do, we have an investigation on the 25th with a client I've done a couple of investigations with. And Katrina's going to help out on that one, and I can't wait to see. So, all right, Sandy, while Katrina's getting back on, so last night you had quite a bit of activity going on, right?
More than enough activity for me. Actually, it turned pretty dangerous last night, and I'm actually getting a reaction out of one of my dogs right now. Hold on.
I heard him. Ooh, that was loud. I don't know what's coming through.
That would be a call request for...
Somebody's getting a call request.
That's a call request.
I don't know where it's coming from, though. I'm not getting anything.
I'm not getting anything either.
It's on your end, Jason.
But I have nothing on my phone coming up. I have nothing here showing any kind of call or anything. It's really weird. I have no idea. And the phone that I'm using has no phone line. It's a what do you want to call it? A dead phone. There's no cell phone line attached.
That was a hangout request.
Hangout.
Well, maybe it's from Katrina getting back on. That could be it. Oh, there, we lost her again.
Yeah, she's back.
All right. Well, I want to talk about this tonight if we can. We might get that call line. I apologize to anybody that comes through. It's how I run my show through this phone app. So, there's Katrina. We're gonna get it. No. All right. Hey, Katrina. All right. So.
All the time.
I know, hon. Hang in there with me. You're doing great. All right. So, Sandy, you had this horrible night last night. Now, what felt so dangerous about it? What was going on?
Oh, well, it started off with the normal noises, moving the blinds on my door, and I just kind of, I kind of ignore it when it does that. I don't want to give it any more energy than it already has. And
these things definitely feed off of fear. I definitely feel that. Yeah,
and my dogs started acting up, and when they start acting up, they start. It's when you see it, it's like because they'll stare at one spot, all three of them, and they'll bark at it.
Are they having stomach problems?
What's that?
I feel like there's throwing up. Is there like stomach problems, nausea on the dogs?
Oh. You know what? I don't. My Chihuahua throws up once in a while, and that was my husband's dog.
I just got that. I just thought that I'd put that out there.
Yeah, once in a while she does. I have to think about it. He does. I'm sorry. had to think about that for a second because that's a disorder that he has. And sometimes he eats the wrong thing or eats too fast, and he just kind of bleh, and that's my Chihuahua.
Okay.
So.
You got some age, right?
What's that?
Your Chihuahua is kind of on the older side.
No, not really.
There might be an old soul in there.
You know what? I mean, he acts like it.
So does my dog. Yeah, I feel you on that. She's
I think he believes he's a Great Dane. So.
Dogs, I think they're Great Danes. I swear, but.
But last night got bad enough that when my dog started barking at one spot in the room, I realized that they were actually barking at him, and I'm actually looking at the spot because it's straight on ahead from me, and I keep remembering the outline, and that he was pretty solid, and normally kind of misty, crawls the walls in the ceiling, but he was pretty solid last night.
So you saw him straight on in front of you.
Straight on in front of me.
Yeah, that was my experience. And like I said, a lot of people, when you talk about shadow, people are like, yeah, I saw one out of the corner of my eye. And a lot of people have that experience, and that's normal. And then some people, skeptics, will say that's just your peripheral vision tricking you. But my experience, your experience, when these things really start to latch onto you and attack you, these people, you start to see it right in front of you. And it's a frightening thing.
But about 2 days ago, and this actually adds up to what happened last night, but about 2 days ago, I was slowly going through my husband's stuff, and, for his kids and stuff like that. And I came across his old knife collection that he's had for years, because that was his favorite thing. He'd go somewhere and buy a knife. And I came across this one particular knife. This particular knife ended up in bed with me, and I still don't know how it got there. That's why I said
wow.
This. And I just started dozing off, and I felt it hit the bed. And I sat straight up, and I was like, that's why I stayed awake till 5 a.m. I'll even show it to you. This is
let me get the screen share off. Give me 1 second, Sandy. Because I had it up because we're going to get to the photos. You got photos you had from your investigations, but I really want to just focus on your story tonight. I don't know we're going to really get into those. But let me get the screen share off. But the photos you sent.
Redo the handle, Sandy.
What's that?
For some reason, I find that your husband showed me that he liked to collect these knives, but he did something different with the handles. Like he would decorate them. I don't know if they had to do with whittling or painting or putting extra hide around it or grip. Does that make sense to you?
He was very particular. They had to have unusual handles. If I showed you some of his knives, you'd go, wow, where did you find that?
Well, show us. You said you're going to show us the knife that ended up in the bed.
Yes, I am. And this one's actually quite plain. I'm not sure if it's a buck knife or if this is one of the old butcher's knives. But if you can look. Now, I'll zoom it in here a little bit.
Lock it on your screen.
Now, this particular knife ended up in my bed.
That's crazy.
Okay? Now, I took this knife and I took it across the room, okay? And I put it on a bookcase and buried it under a bunch of stuff after it ended up in my bed. I woke up to my ferrets again because I started dozing off again, and I'm thinking, so maybe I should stay awake. I started dozing off, and one of my ferrets started going into a seizure.
Oh.
I walked over, because he's like 14 years old, and he has a seizure disorder, and I have to immediately pick him up.
Right.
So I got out of bed, and I went over to pick him up and sitting inside the cage.
Wow.
So I got to wonder about this knife, because it does not feel like a good knife. It really doesn't.
Right.
It's stained, and I'm not sure what it's stained with.
Looks like patina.
I mean, it's one of the old The really old plastic handled ones we tried to make it look like wood, like 30, 40 years ago.
How long have you had that knife?
Okay. What's that?
That's by the plant tree.
I'm sorry. I keep getting music every time Judy says something.
And I'm getting a train.
Yeah, I just heard a train.
Oh, okay.
The train's me. I just muted myself. So.
I just wondered how long you've had that knife.
I just found it in his stuff. Now, this stuff was his when he was a little boy. It was in the bottom of a box full of his children's books.
I wonder if something is attached to that knife.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And I
That's
wonder.
what I was thinking too.
I just found it, so it's, I open a box, I find a knife, I throw it in another box, because that's how he was.
Might be a good idea to get rid of that knife.
You need to give it to the Warrens.
The Warrens.
Yeah. No, I felt that you all came up with the same thought. I was thinking the same exact thing. I'm like, my mind is picturing him as a little boy getting that knife. Maybe it's not that old, but I feel like that was the first thing I thought of. Is like maybe this is one of his first knives he got as a kid.
That's what came to my mind too. Has had it since childhood.
Yeah.
That's part of the personal thing I need to talk to you about, Sandy.
Okay. Well, we're going to get you guys together for sure. And I want to make it, it's very personal. I remember I'm a big Art Bell fan, and he would have a lot of mediums and psychics on, but he would never let them do readings on his show because he felt it wasn't, he felt it wasn't fair to the audience. But for me, I wanted this. I want people to see how this works. You hear people's stories, and you're like, yeah, right. They read this off of you. They cold read you. And I'm like, I'm telling you, there's real people out there that can do this. And
oh yeah.
And I want people to see this, to get an idea. And I know the problem with it is too, it gets really personal. And there's things, that Katrina, she's a professional. She does not want to talk about on here, and that's perfect. That's totally understandable.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And Sandy, we talked about this coming on that it could get very personal. This is very dark stuff. This is not something to take lightly. For anybody, if you're an investigator, again, you deal with this kind of situation. You got to remember, I've seen some investigators that just don't take this stuff seriously, and they say the stupidest thing in front of people. And you got to remember, people are living this. This is an awful thing to go through. And I guess I learned that early on with my own personal experience. As short as it was very, very bad. So that's why I'm doing this show tonight, and I put you two together. All right, so we're talking about this knife. It ends up in your bed. And yeah, I would not sleep the rest of the night either.
I dozed off, and I was like, because when I get tired, unfortunately.
Right, that's human.
Right, but after it ended up inside my ferret cage, it just kind of, I stayed awake. I turned on the TV, and I was like, screw this, I'm not doing anymore. Right. And I even told it, you know what, go for a walk, do something else, because I actually have him confined right now to my room. And I have him confined to the backyard. He's not allowed in the rest of the house. And that goes for both of them. So, and that's because of the children. I don't need him attaching himself to them.
So you vocally told them, like, stay out?
It did that, and the use of black salt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I pretty much confined him to the area, that I want him.
And for listeners that don't know, there are certain things you can do. My wife has done that to my house more than once because she always says I like to bring things home. So black salt's one of them. If you're a Supernatural fan, you'll see them using all kinds of salt and Kufler dust and stuff like that to keep stuff out. But there's a reality to it. So yeah, and you've been into this, Sandy, so you know some of the things to do to kind of protect yourself. But you also, we talked about this too. It's like a medical practitioner. You're sensitive. You're an investigator, but a doctor should never practice on themselves.
Correct, and I refuse to. I tell people, because people will ask me, well, what's my husband saying? Honestly, I don't hear him. I don't see him. I don't pick up messages from him because I'm not a conduit for him. because I'm his wife.
Right.
So, and honestly, if I did pick up on him like that, I would have to wonder about myself.
Right.
So I don't do readings on myself. Even if I pick up a spark, it's like, no, and I back it down.
And I don't think you
Hey,
should.
Jason.
Yeah, what, Todd?
About 3-4 minutes prior to this, when you were talking black salt and things like that, when the YouTube video comes around, go back and listen to that when it's done recording, because I'm picking up another male voice in there with you.
You know, I almost wanted to say
I am too. I thought it was Todd.
No, it wasn't me.
I'm feeding. The only thing I can say is I've thought about that. I'm like, is that me feeding back through Sandy's line because she doesn't have headphones? But there's times where it didn't sound like me feeding back. Like a male voice has tried to get through. I felt like that.
It was a deep voice, and you don't have a deep voice, so I thought maybe it was Todd.
Now, if it was my husband, he would sing it. But
I'm a musician singer, so I feel you there.
yeah, but but if it's this other thing, and if it's a deep voice, then it could very well be what I've been having.
Oh, it's definitely a deep and gravelly voice, and it's got me beat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would be interested in hearing this then.
Well, I always go back and listen to my shows afterwards to find any mistakes I've done or any audio problems, which I always have. And I hope I didn't lose a ton of viewers. I only see one viewer right now, but I don't think this thing totally does it right. We might have lost a ton of people at the beginning because of the stupid Murphy's Law feedback problems I had, but they'll watch it later, hopefully. So maybe, and I'm getting ready to do an ITC, I think in August. I figured out a way to do Spirit Box live on your, so I've kind of already started experimenting. That might have opened things up on here for that to happen. So, possible.
Now,
all right.
You been doing that at your house?
A little bit.
Oh, Jason.
I know. I have some experimental things I'm trying to do, so I have them ready to go for investigations, and I've been joined Steve Huff's paranormal community. That's a private community, and we're talking a lot about what we can do to make certain effects and certain things like come out better. And so I had some ideas, and I want to play with them. So I don't want to get into that too much. I want to stick on Sandy's story, though. We'll talk some other time about what's going on with all that. But Sandy, so let's get back to you. And so you had the whole rough night last night. The knife in the bed, the knife in the ferret cage. The knife in the bed. I can tell. I can tell you're exhausted. And thank you so much for coming on the show. And you're a real trooper.
I appreciate you having me. I mean, this is important. I mean, the things that I have found out and what I know now and what I've watched, I got a greater understanding of these things than I did before.
That's great.
And I now know why they're so hard to get rid of.
For me, I want to say, for me, I feel lucky that I got rid of mine. Right. I didn't do anything special to get rid of mine. I really feel a great-grandfather of mine who passed away before I was born, the night I was thrown up and down in my bed, I saw him. I feel like he came in and just said, that's enough, and kicked it out. I've never had a problem, and the weird thing is every time I've run across shadow people before, and I have seen them since, they seem to keep their distance. Like they can't get too close to me. I don't know if that's my mind or not, but it's always that. It's always like they're blocked, and they're pissed about it.
Jason.
Yeah.
I don't know if your audio picked up on that, but he was just rattling my door.
I heard something. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he was just rattling my door. That's why I looked over.
Well, your video is bouncing. I don't know if you guys can see that. But
the video's probably bouncing because I have my computer on a chair.
Yeah.
That's up high enough that I could look into it, and I keep leaning on it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I want to check.
Yeah, but I do want to say, and I have to point this out, in going through my husband's stuff, I have found a lot of things that really, he told me when he was a teenager, he played around with the black arts and stuff like that because he had the interest in it. He, like me, was an 80s kid, and that was a big deal in the 80s.
Yeah.
Geraldo Rivera.
Yes.
So, But going through his boxes and stuff like that, I have found notebooks where he was trying to do spirit writing. And I found a pendulum that he was using, and in odds and ends, that really point to that why his attachment stuck so hard. You know, he kind of fed it and made it permanent.
Yeah, I think these things try to encourage that too. They want you to open up the door more.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I felt like the thing that messed with me, I mean, I always had an interest in the paranormal, but at that time, I did stuff too. Like, I remember at that time period in my life, I think back of it, I was at parties making homemade Ouija boards and goofing around and stuff. I was just a stupid kid. So, but yeah, I felt like it did encourage that kind of thing. And after my experience, when it got darker, I didn't want to mess with that stuff at all. Like, I'm an investigator, but I don't do Ouija boards. I don't do that stuff, Of course, I did do the spirit box in my house. But it's on the scientific end. I'm trying to test this stuff out.
Well, yeah, if you don't test it on yourself, how are you going to find out if it works?
I just want to go on an investigation and have a problem with it. That's what I'm trying to test the stuff out. So
I'm actually kind of upset because I wanted to really get to you those files, those sound files that I had.
Yeah,
and they all corrupted. And they don't want to be heard or what their deal is, but the last incident that I had was just really kind of out of it. I didn't understand what was happening, so, but
it's too bad. Tonight I wouldn't have been able to do it very well because I'm having this audio problem. I'm probably going to have a solution for it soon. I just thought of something I can fix this audio problem I've been having for show after show with the echo if I want to listen to my own audio. Right now I don't hear myself. I hear my voice over, I don't hear myself coming through the show or anything. But yeah, if you ever, do find a way to get those not corrupted, uncorrupted, or ever do fix them, feel free to send me. I'm an EVP guy. I love that kind of stuff. And if you want, I'd play it on the show one night too, so people can hear it.
Now, I do want to ask a question for Katrina. I really do. I don't know how much time you have left.
we got 34 minutes, and even if I run over, it's my show. Whatever.
Okay, but I do want to ask Katrina a question because I witnessed several times over the last 10 years of marriage, especially right before his death, that it wasn't him anymore. His hair actually turned white. If you look at the original picture, you will see where it's white. The original picture of him laying without it being muted out. But
yeah, I'll attest to that. I've seen the original picture. I definitely saw white streaks in his hair.
Yeah, his hair was turning white, and he was not himself. To such a point that I was worried for my life and others' lives, because when he would yell and scream, I could see it in his face. It wasn't him. Do you encounter that often with shadow people? Because I talked to Jason about this the other day, and it's actually starting to do it to me, because I just did it and had no idea that I did it.
I've only had a few encounters, and I feel like they feed on us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Your nails start to get brittle,
right.
And your hair breaks off, which is a sign of vitamin deficiency, is what it seems to. I also can see your husband's eyes starting to hot underneath the dark circles. I felt like he would automatically kind of like dropped in sugar levels, extreme, and have to get. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
She said his sugar levels dropped.
Like he get dizzy.
That would make sense. He had stopped eating toward the end. He had ate that night, but he wasn't eating much.
It's kind of like a parasite.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, he did. He scared me. I've never. You're talking. When people looked at my husband, they thought him. His stage name was Monster, because he was really good at it. But but in his heart, he was the most sensitive human being I'd ever met. He could cry at the drop of a hat.
He told me he was a teddy bear.
Huh?
He told me he was your teddy bear.
Oh, God, he was my snuggle bug, yeah. I miss him. And he's just, to see the decline and to see what he was going through has, like, spun me into this thing where if somebody says, I think I have a shadow person, I'm on it. I mean, because I have to see for myself if it's the same as what I got.
I've witnessed this in people. Me and Sandy, I think I talked about this with you, Sandy. I had a neighbor. I felt like, when he lived next to me, he had issues, he had problems, but he was a real nice guy. But he was into the paranormal, doing pendulums, and I'm not. If you do that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. There's a way to do it, I'm sure, without being attacked or having things attach you. I'm not trying to tell people they can't do these things, but he was really into the occult, and he definitely had an alcohol issue too. But he still was a nice guy. He was a good guy. And then he moved, his girlfriend kicked him out. She had enough of his drinking. And I ran into him a year later, and he was with this other woman I would always see in town that always creeped me out. I don't know why, but they looked at me with these hungry eyes, like they wanted to eat me alive. I swear to God, I got the most creepiest feeling, and then I could feel it. I could feel it attached to him. Like it's the same feeling I had when I was being attacked. I could feel it on him. Like something told me, get away. And I said, I made up an excuse. They were like, oh, what are you up to right now? And give me what are you doing? Where are you going? It's just, and I'm like, oh, well, I had some church errands I'm doing. Man, it was good running into you. And I swear to God, a couple hours later, I got home, and they either were waiting for me or what, but they came right to my door. And like, hey, I was just stopping by. I just saw you earlier. What are you up to? I'm like, actually, I have to get going again. I just remembered I got to do this thing. And I got the hell away. And it's a personality change and a feeling. I could feel the difference in him. And it was like he could be violent. I also had a friend who felt he was being haunted at one time. And his personality changed to the point he did something so horrible. It broke my heart. And he's better now. And he went through, he had jail time for what he did. But I knew at the time when it happened, I had detached myself from him because I felt like I couldn't be near him because of whatever was going on. It was this darkness that I'd felt, and I just could not be near it. So these things are dangerous, and they do change people, and they change their personalities. And again, it's just so similar to what, demonic possession, but I'm not going to get into it tonight. There's signs of demonic possession that go really Christian and Judeo-Christian or certain religions and stuff, that there's certain signs and stuff. That doesn't always happen. And it doesn't happen with these shadow persons. It's something different. It's like Katrina said, a parasite. It's like it's eating them alive. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing in my life. Still in my mind. There's so many. My story, I'm not going to get into tonight. There's so many weird things that happen around it. It boggles my mind to this day. And your story, it's any other person, anybody hearing this would be like, that's crazy. I believe it. I feel it. I know it because I've been through it. Just a short time I was, and I can't imagine your husband going through it for since his childhood and just getting worse. What that would do to a person.
Right.
You guys could tell me if this sounds really stupid, but when we're talking about demonic entities, I'm thinking like demonic entities and non-human entities are different.
Absolutely. Okay.
Non-human.
Now you're getting into what I'm studying.
Well, me and Katrina talked about this. They feel almost alien.
I totally believe that there's I feel like there's a piece of alien, and I also do believe.
You're cutting out, Katrina.
I also feel that we have dimensions. I think we are a coalition in time with other dimensions, and they're.
I think of it as like a fourth dimension that we can't see into, most of us.
Everybody in my Ghost Hunting group has heard me talk about the multiverse and my love for the idea of the theory of multiple dimensions, parallel universes, and how it can relate to spirit activity and that. And that whole idea came from shadow people in my experience. because that was my feeling. Like, this was not some human soul. This was not some fallen angel. This is something alien to our world.
Something that was never alive, never human.
Never even existed. And, you know, it has no created. It was not created in this dimension.
Right. And I believe they start off that way.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, Todd, what's up?
Well, look a little deeper into it. Indian mythos and a lot of others, they called them the outsiders.
The outsiders, yep. And then there's the watchers and stuff like that too. And you hear that on Ancient Aliens. But
I love his hair.
What a trademark! You can't.
But no, my idea is, and my theory is because I believe that. I mean, and I got the whole idea. I mean, from my husband when he was alive. Okay, because he felt that his shadow person was not a person, that it wasn't a demon, that it was from somewhere else. But they have the ability upon your death to split your soul and create more.
I thought that too. Oh my God, that is so like right along the ideas I've had about shadow people, and that their whole point is to rip you into fragment you.
Right, I mean, and think about it in the respect of, because when I saw my husband, like I said, it looked like his soul was being ripped out of his body.
No, and that when I was being lifted up off my bed, I felt like that's what was happening to me. It was not just being physically lifted; it was like my whole soul was being ripped apart. And
it's like they're feeding off your soul.
That's exactly correct. Yes, and it's like she said, they want to fragment you, make you a shadow in a way.
And I believe that the little shadow person I have is just an aspect of my husband that was corrupted.
And I did some research into this, and you know what's really weird? I listened to a ton of old Art Bell episodes. Obviously, I'm a big fan. I do my own show. After we talked, Sandy, you know what episode came on? A show about this guest. I wish I could remember the name, but it was all about how our souls are split, that we have a shadow soul in a way, and that that when we die, sometimes this split happens and a part of ourselves are left beyond and another part of ourselves goes to another place. It's kind of the id and ego, or conscious versus subconscious, but it's more than that. It's the soul, that the soul is not just one being, that it's multiple beings. And somehow these shadow people, and this is what they're talking about, that, you know, these dark ghosts or stuff are an aspect of somebody who could have been, you know, that has been ripped apart from them. So it's really weird. We talked about that, and then this episode comes on. I don't know, synchronicity or not, and that, you know, maybe we're getting some answers here to what's going on.
Well,
Jason,
go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, if you've seen, there was a Ghost Hunters episode, and it reminded me a lot of what's going on here. I believe it was a shadow person, but the husband had changed quite a bit. I'm thinking maybe it wasn't Ghost Adventures, but he shot his wife in the arm.
You're talking about our previous
episode. And then he ended up...
Judy, you're talking about our show.
Was that us?
That was our show. That was my show in the demonic. That was about the guy. Yeah, and it was very similar.
Okay, it wasn't Ghost Adventures. Okay. I watched too much of this stuff.
It was my own show. But all right, Sandy, what were you saying? What was it, Judy? Sorry, hold on a second, Sandy. What was it?
Are you sure where the guy ended up?
Yes, that was my show.
Where the guy ended up shooting himself?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, that was my show.
I'm picturing it happening.
Yeah, because you watched it on my show. That was.
I'm picturing
Ed and Lorraine Warren case that is very famous. Where his head splits open in the video when they're doing the exorcism, but the all-end result is everything.
Okay, you're right. All
right, so
that's why I'm thinking I saw it, because there was a video. You're right.
Sandy, what were you gonna say, Sandy?
Well, what I was gonna say was that, I mean, we all know who Amy Allen is, okay? And I actually like Amy Allen in a lot of respects.
She does the show.
Dead Files.
Yeah.
Dead Files. Now, she always says that you can't get rid of them. You got to kind of push them out. You know, she said she doesn't know where they come from. I want to be able to answer her one day and say, this is where they come from. The reason why they're so hard to get rid of is because they're not connected with the original part of their soul. That's the only way they're going to move on, is if they're back together again.
That's a good point.
The good part of themselves can move on fine, but the dark part has to be reunited.
And that was exactly the point of that episode. Right after we talked, I listened to Art Bell that night. There's an old show. That was exactly the point the guest had about that. So
that's really weird because I've never watched Art Bell.
It's a radio show, classic. He's been on for years. He's coming back in July 20th. He's got his own internet show. Listen to him. That's why I do this show. He influenced me to try to do my own show. So now, Sandy, we're 20 minutes left. There's some incredible pictures. You got these? Were these from last night? The pictures that took themselves off your phone?
No, actually, they were from a few weeks ago. I came across them again, and I was like, I didn't remember if I sent them to you. I actually had a hard time sending them to you. It took about 4 tries. I don't think you wanted me to get them to you. Yeah, but this is my phone doing what it likes to do, and I've had the phone checked.
Now let's get to the story. You were sleeping though when these pictures had to been taken, right?
Yes, I was sleeping.
And you just woke up and found these pictures?
The phone is on a. If you look behind me, you'll see a nightstand back there.
Yeah.
Okay. It was sitting there, and I'm sleeping on this side of her room. So that's about 5 feet away. I woke up and I saw that the camera was open, and the camera doesn't just open.
Right.
So I thought, well, let's see what happened. And I looked through the gallery, and this is what I found.
Actually, a blind person can open a phone camera.
You were talking about that. I think you said something to me about that, Katrina, when we first met. About saying I had weird phone things happen and stuff opening up or things happening. I have a little bit of that. You brought that up when we first met.
I wrote down a lot of things about your whole crew.
All right, so I'm gonna pull up the screen share. I want to show these photos. When I just got these right before the show, like she said, they never got to me. The previous one, she said, I've never got the email for them or whatever. And she said, did you get these? And I'm like, no. Oh my God, these are crazy. All right, so let me pull these up for you. Let me get the screen share going again.
Excuse me.
That's all right. It's getting near the midnight hour.
All day.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Sandy that before the show when you were off trying to reconnect that you're a very, very busy woman. That you were doing like so much today and hopping on this show. So thank you.
Before Trina goes back to Texas, you'll have to bring her by my place.
I've been thinking about that.
That is right.
Yeah, it's in LaPorte. I was been thinking about that because also you got that apartment above that's open now, right?
Yeah, it's currently open. We've got to do a major remodel up there.
God, I would love to.
All right, we're going to have to find it. You leave, what, August 1st or something like that?
I will leave in a second. My kids back, but I'll be hitting Tennessee, Louisiana, doing readings before I head home.
Well, we got that investigation the 25th. We're going to have to talk after the show and see if there's a day we can get over to the Todd's. Because, yeah, we had a lot of activity. We did one day where we just did, 2 hours during the middle of the day, and we had stuff getting knocked over, and we had some great EVPs. There's a previous episode where we played them. We just seem to be getting stuff a lot there lately. It goes back. What year was that built, Todd?
1880.
All right. We'll talk about that later. But, yeah, I would love to get you there.
Get on to Sandy stuff.
Yeah, we'll get on to Sandy stuff. So, all right. So this was the first picture in the set, I think, here. It's just a black blur on this one. We're going to get to the good stuff here. Just alone, if it just popped up on my phone, like I woke up in the middle of the morning and be like, what the heck is this?
Exactly.
Well, I'm getting a face on the left-hand side of that photo anyways.
Yeah, there's definitely some matrixing. I want to say in one of these, I swear to God, I can see a gray alien's face, in one. But we'll get to that in a second. All right, so this was the first picture, Sandy, right?
Correct.
And there's a total of what? We got 4, I think, or 5?
4 or 5?
Yeah. All right, so this is the first one. Let's go down to the next. Here's the next one. You guys see it all right?
It's coming into the frame, so it's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely moving. All right, so here's the next one. Still moving. And you almost see like a shadow of an eye and a nose a little bit here, but it gets better. Okay. This one. You can almost see like a cheekbone and stuff. I showed these to my wife right before the show. She's like, "Oh my god!"
It almost looks like an infant when it's being, like in the body before it's born.
Okay. Now
embryonic.
Okay.
Yes, that's it.
I know matrixing and all, but I almost see like a little gray alien head. I swear to God. We talk about aliens. I swear to God, I see one right there.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think Jason sees aliens all the time.
I know. All right, so here we go.
There's just a Doctor Who episode happening. Here's what's going on.
Yeah. Here's another one. I think that was the last one.
I'm side profile of a face, big time.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing an embryo. I really am seeing an embryo.
But I also see.
Yeah.
And these are blown up, so they get very pixelated. I wish I could do them more justice for how they look when they come on, when she first sent them to me. But they're pretty incredible for things like this.
I'd be really interested to see if somebody could do a bump map contour on those.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. If I would have got these sooner, I would have tried to send these to you, Todd, to see if you could do anything with them.
I don't actually have the render software for that, for what I'm talking about. Like when they did with the Shroud of Turin.
Right. I know what you're talking about. But even just to contrast these a little bit maybe or something to see if we get anything. I almost see like there's some coloration here, like there's something going on here too.
That's what I see, like a person's head and shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, right where your arrow is.
Yeah, I think we're seeing something entirely different.
Yeah.
Remember that kind? The alien abduction going on up in Anchorage, Alaska?
You're not bringing up fourth kind, are you?
I am. I thought it was the fifth kind. I'm not sure what it was.
No, it's the fourth kind. Don't get me started on that film.
Okay, it's a Mickey in our family, so.
Well, I have a lot of. I did a lot of. I saw that movie and I'm like, what is going on? I don't want to get into that.
Hello, rabbit hole.
How did I go to bring that up?
Let's go back to a couple of these here too, and God, I really feel like these aren't. They look so much better when you get the original copy of it. When I have to put it on the website, I have to blow it up a little bit, and the way it does it for you to see it, it doesn't do it justice to these pictures. When I looked at this one here on the phone, I see like almost like a face, like this black is a black shadow face and a big mouth gaping open.
Like alien?
Or just a black shadow person.
See, I'm seeing profile. I've got a profile. I've got a gate of the eye. There's the nose.
Here.
There's a
right
yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. A profile here. But
to me, that's consistent throughout.
Yeah, the profile. Like
right there, it's even closer.
Here's a face right here.
I'm seeing profile too.
Yeah, this is another profile face. I see a lot of different stuff, and of course, skeptics will be like, "Well, you guys are going Matrix nuts here," but there's something to this. Her phone's taking pictures on its own, and for one, we're talking about black shadow people, and this is as black as you get in this picture, But yeah, I see a profile here. Definitely.
And this is the Paranormal Soup's second most racist show ever.
How is this racist? Because it's black. Oh, come on. Yes, we get a little racist with the Charlie.
Well, that one's kind of blue.
Yeah, but yeah, I do see the profile here, but I swear to God, I see like a gaping face here too. It's like it's multiple different things. I see a face here. It could be Matrix.
This one looks almost skeletal.
Yeah, this one here.
It very well can be Matrix.
But if
you go back to the first photo, Jason, and you scroll in, that face is resolving. From the time I saw the first image, it's forming.
I agree. I think that's the most incredible part about it. It does seem like it is forming. Like, you're right. Yeah, definitely. And you got a better eye for this than I do. But yeah, it definitely seems like there's something happening here, or forming a face, look, nose, a mouth. Here, Kristen, there's this stuff going on. It's incredible, Sandy, and
I just think it's kind of odd that my shadow person likes to take selfies.
we need to get him a selfie stick. So it's not so close up on the camera. These are incredible.
Yeah, see, and like I said, because when I looked at him, I was like, what in the world is this? And I don't even have anything near that color. And then I realized that I do, actually, in that picture, that right there used to be a lamp there.
Were this blue? Are you talking about the blue color? Or?
The blue-green color?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something behind it. I thought, you know what, I don't have anything in color in this room, and then I realized, well, yeah, I do, actually.
Would it have had to pick up the phone to get that in the background?
Yeah, they would have to pick up the phone and turn around.
Wow.
To get that in the background, and it's the only thing in the room that is that color. And it was something my husband bought for me.
Wow. I have to say, I mean, it really feels like he's really trying to communicate something to you, or something is. I mean, you're getting such strong evidence, such strong things happening. I hate to put it this way, you're in a serious situation, you know.
Oh, I believe it. You know, but I tell people, I can't learn from them if I just make them go away. And I really just want to know more before I make them go away. They just need to stop, being abusive. That's all. Maybe if I stand up and tell them to stop, they'll stop.
Sandy, are they still being abusive with you?
At times, yes.
I think putting a knife in her bed last night is abusive. I mean,
the physical, was that while your husband was alive they did that more? Or has the abuse, the physical bit led up since your husband has passed?
No, I mean, for the whole 10 years that we were together, it was physical. And then after he passed away, it actually upped itself. It upped itself. This winter, I fell 8 times. And they weren't falls. There was one point, I was actually...
You were pushed, is that what you're saying?
Well, at one point I felt like I was thrown into a wood-burning stove.
Oh my God.
And, I mean, I racked my head and everything, because it was, on it. And it was a pretty bad scene. I mean, I'm not a little girl. You gotta have some force to do that with me. So... And and at that point, and I kept telling it that, I mean, one of these days, it's, I'll find a way and I'll hurt it back. And I will. Because I believe, in my heart, it killed my husband.
I know. I when I first talked to you, I could feel your anger towards it. Like, you're trying to fight a battle here.
Yeah.
I feel like the knife is your husband's symbol of him finding out what the connection is.
I have to agree with that.
I don't feel he's being very avid. I find that they know everything on the other side. He hasn't abandoned you. And Sandy, I don't take the knife as a malicious stand. I take it that he's saying, this is it. You need to get rid of it. I don't believe that he's standing behind you on getting to know more about them.
I was going to say that too. I was going to exactly say the same thing. And I'm not coming from a psychic sense. I'm coming from a paranormal investigation and research sense of everything I've researched about shadow people and this kind of experience. But I also, maybe a psychic sense too, because when we were first telling this story, right away, I have a very active imagination. But the scene played in my head of this boy getting that knife. Like, this is like one of his first knives, and it just being something
significant about that knife.
And Sandy, you did state that you went back and tried to go to sleep. So he put it in. I feel that your husband doesn't want you to forget about this, and he placed it in your baby's. That you know that if you didn't pick up your ferret. And he knows that you are very attuned with your loved ones, your little babies. I feel like it's just a second attempt to, Sandy, listen to me, this needs to be taken care of. And I think that the guessing work is over. He's been able to help you out. Unfortunately, his battle went that direction, but he's winning the war. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh no, and I do realize that. I mean,
Awesome.
I don't know. I mean, I do realize that he is winning the battle because, and I want to say this, it needs to be said, as of an hour ago my time, it is the 40th anniversary of my mother's death. Wednesday will be the first anniversary of my husband's death. So this is a very rough week, very emotional week, but I have been so depressed throughout
I
this
can
time.
imagine.
And I know that a lot of my depression is coming from that as well as my grief. So I recognize all that. And I even see a counselor for all that. And she even said, what I'm seeing, I'm not schizophrenic. You see what you see. You hear what you hear, and that's it.
What scares me for your situation, you talked about a little while ago, was the fact that you've now experienced the blackout experience, and that's scary. You said you basically kind of snapped on your family members that live with you and don't remember it.
I don't remember doing it at all, and I sent a series of text messages over something stupid. And even his mom, because that's who I live with, is his parent, his mom and dad. Even his mom said, I could have swore Bill was sending me a text message.
Because it sounded like him.
Yeah.
And did she say that about how when you talked to her too, when you said you snapped on her physically in person too?
Yes, I did.
And what you said, I remember you telling me something like you sounded like him is what she said too.
She said I sounded like him. I have the same facial expressions. She thought that she was going to get hurt. And it was over something stupid, food.
Yeah. I had something moving.
Huh?
Yeah, I heard that too.
What's that?
I don't know if you guys know it, but I was sitting here looking in the back of my car. I don't know if you can go back. I've got something, and I just heard a growl.
I heard something. I didn't know if somebody was moving something or not, but it sounded like a growl.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yep. I've been watching I've been locked onto Sandy's and watching it, and I'm picking up other noises on her end as well.
I have a question for Katrina.
Yes.
Do you have any kind of feeling about that knife? Like it should be taken out of the house?
It is. It's red hot in my visions.
I'm sensing that with that knife is like a warning. Get rid of this. I'm thinking that something's attached to that knife.
Yes. I know. For some reason, I feel like rock salt wrapped in leather and then put in secret ground. For some reason, is the way that I feel I'm being told to bind it.
I was going to say binding it is definitely one of those solutions that's been recommended for these kind of objects. Sandy, you were going to say something?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, he's standing over here.
I can see your stomach is getting sick.
So I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
That's why I keep looking over here, because his favorite spot to stand is in my doorway. So, and right now he's kind of trying to be intimidating, but that's okay. I mean, he's dealing with my grandmother right now, I think. So, and my grandmother's tough. When she was alive, she was a tough old Polish lady. She ain't gonna let him bring me down.
She might be trying to protect you right now too. And that was my experience. Is what protected me was my great grandfather. It was a kind of a watched over me and my mother.
Right.
And I felt he kicked it in the butt, whatever it was. And yeah, you could be being protected, trying to be.
Well, that's when you asked me, "Are you protected?" And I said, "Oh, absolutely." I know what I'm about. So.
Well,
what's that?
Was there a child that walked beside you?
No, that's the dog. The dogs are orienting on it.
Okay, because it looked like a child to me.
No, that's my Chihuahua. And none of them.
It's like a dog, but I could have swore I saw a child.
Yeah, and none of
Yeah,
them.
there's a dog strolling back and forth behind her.
But they have not growled other than the one moment when my puppy started going off.
I wouldn't have believed it was a growl from them anyways. It didn't sound like it could have came from a Chihuahua, but I don't know. On a mic, who knows? But I don't know.
Was that what a real rattly growl? Is that what you heard?
Yeah.
Like a rattly growl? Yeah.
And forgive me, Todd, I do know the difference between a child and a dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult, but you're watching it on a phone, so.
No, I saw an actual child. It looked like it was about 9 years old to me.
I've never wanted to go back and watch one of my episodes more than this one right now.
You need to.
You actually saw whoa, we need to talk, lady.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Todd, Sandy knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Awesome.
And that's a surprise. That is a very good surprise.
I wish we had more time. It is midnight. I should kind of get it to a close. My wife's waiting on me upstairs if she's still awake, and a cold dinner that she made for me, thinking she could feed me before the show. So I promised her always that I'd be done at midnight. So I should end it. Thank you so much, Sandy, Katrina. You guys, this has been an amazing show. You know, and I'm not trying to rip it myself. It's you. You guys made it amazing. Katrina,
You did, really did.
Yeah, it's too bad if I lost viewers at the beginning with my constant Murphy Law echo problems of ripping a hole in the universe that I do. But it says I got 3 viewers. But Katrina, I gotta have you on again. This can't be the only time I have you on.
It was nice meeting you both, Sandy, Katrina.
Nice meeting you.
And Sandy, I want to say this too. You're an investigator. You're going to places. I want you to get help with Katrina. I want you to get yourself better. Get your situation resolved. Because remember, I said, you know, I think you should get that resolved before you go investigating anymore.
Okay.
And don't battle this thing, because I don't think it's a battle you can win.
Yeah, like you said, you can't. You got to get help. You can't practice on yourself. You know this. We've talked about it. But when you do get better and you go on investigations again and you get some evidence from something else that has nothing personally to do with you, I want to have you on. You know, this is a place we're open for investigators that have their forum and that to present their evidence. That's why I started this show. I had no idea I'd have a show like this tonight. Really wouldn't. So.
Well, I didn't think that they'd be noisy for you, but apparently they were. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like I said, I've never wanted to go back and listen to one of my own episodes that quickly.
And I'm seeing so many things here in the background. I just can hardly wait to go back and look at this.
Her dog is walking back and forth, but
her dog isn't the same. Isn't as tall as her head, is it?
His tail. I don't know. Maybe not. No, there's her dog right now. He's pulling right now. There's his
tail going into my ear.
Yeah. No, his tail would not go above her head. So if you saw something above her head, I don't know what that was.
I saw something above her head.
That is
something like walked behind her.
That is possible.
About right here.
Well, Sandy, you have a very brown aura about you, and we need to clean that up for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will get you guys together. I'll send you her phone number again because I know you're on the show. You're not able to write it down. So I'll make sure you get her phone number, Sandy, so you guys can talk. You know, and thank you, Katrina, for offering your services to her. Oh, no. Like I said, thank you. Because I'm just a lonely guy. I'm not a big guy on a show, you know, and I've been wanting to have a medium on here. I known a few, thought about reaching out to them, and then I get this message from you, don't even know you, saying, hey, I don't know if you've seen the show, but you probably saw some of my posts, and, we said you're going to be in the area, you know, and would love to meet. That's where we started out and how we got to this point tonight. So thank you so much for reaching out to me.
I can put a plug in for my paranormal team in Pasadena because they're watching Pasadena Paranormal Research.
You're cutting out, but I'm going to translate. Pasadena Paranormal. Giving a shout out to them.
And I found them beautiful people out there that were trying to get the right word out and the truth.
And I'm jealous of them because they have you. I wish you lived here. But when you get back to Texas, we're gonna have another night with you, a talk, and maybe it won't be a night of reading. Sandy was a situation I felt I needed to get you on. It was last minute almost. Yeah, you're cutting out. We'll get you a better signal so we can actually hear Katrina talk about her experiences as a medium and get more from her, and not out of the front seat of her car or 4G network. All right. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to end it now. Again, anybody, definitely Katrina's on Facebook. I will look about, if it's all right, Katrina, I will try to find I'm going to get you a link to your Facebook page if I can get it on my website. My website, I will have it up, her links and stuff up when I get to it. MWPParanormalSoup.com. MWPParanormalSoup.com. That's the website. And I will try to get her links and stuff up there, so anybody wants to contact Katrina that way that saw this show, I'll have it up there. It might be a couple days. But I will get it up there. And my email is jblandmidwestparanormal@hotmail.com. You'll see it on the screen here. If somebody watching this feels they want to get a hold of Katrina, they didn't get the phone number or whatever, you feel free to email me. I will make sure you get her contact information. It was amazing. I couldn't ask for more spot on reading. Go ahead.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye, Katrina. And we'll get you in Todd's place,
Bye.
hopefully.
Bye.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. All right.
Have a great night.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Bye.
So tonight we had a medium on. My first time having a medium on the show. Definitely want to have Katrina on again. If you're a medium out there and you think you want to come on the show, you don't have to do a reading. But if you want to come on, talk about your experiences, I'd be free to have you on. This show is about the paranormal, be it UFO, ghost, or cryptoid, whatever. But I'm interested in the psychic phenomena. I've had a lot of experiences since my childhood, a lot of senses in my adulthood that I feel that have proven to me that there's something to this phenomenon. Tonight, if Katrina's reading did not prove it to you, fine. But to me, how can you not be more spot on? I mean, I have her little list here. This is what she sent me before the show, before she ever talked to Sandy. These are her notes, and they're spot on. There's nothing more spot on than that. So for people who doubt, fine, whatever. But anybody witness, there's no cold reading going on here. She did this stuff before she ever got to talk to Sandy, so you can't get more spot on than that. So any of you doubters out there, whatever. I think she kind of hit it right on the head tonight. And Sandy, I hope things get better for you. And again, I'm here for you anytime. You need anything, you just give me a phone call, okay?
Oh, not a problem. We'll keep in touch.
Okay. Thank you so much, hon. You have a great night.
Thank you.
And Todd, I'll talk to you. Maybe we can find a night before Katrina leaves town to get her over to your place. I'd love to have her.
I'm there all week.
All right, man. I'll let you know. Keep in touch on that. All right. Thank you, guys. Some show notes really quick for you guys. Anybody watching the show or follow the show, we'll have a show next week, July 19th. I don't know what the topic's going to be yet. I'm looking at trying to get my friend Dave Calderon on here. He was on a show a couple episodes ago. I really want to give him his whole night to do his spirit box stuff he's been doing. We're talking to him. He's seeing if it's in his schedule. So hopefully we get Dave on. We can do some of his ITC stuff. Then the 26th July, there won't be a show. That's my going to be 11-year wedding anniversary, I believe. So I'm going to be spending that with my wife. July 26th is our wedding anniversary. So obviously I won't have a show then. We'll be back in August. And I joined Steve Huff's ITC Collective. I got invited to that group. It's about 1,000 people now, but it's all people practicing and doing spirit boxes or paranormal photography, all about communicating. And I've come up with a way to do a spirit box session live through the show, and with some of the experimental ideas that they've talked about on there. So I do want to try that and get some of those people on from the ITC Collective on here. Nobody's totally responded to me about doing it. I've had a couple likes to the post I put on that page page. But I'm hoping I get some responses and some people that want to come on here and talk about their experiences as spirit box operators or whatever you want to call it. People who use these things like Dave does. Dave's going to get his own show though. He's got his bunch of stuff, and he's on the ITC Collective now. Just got on there. I want to give him his own show. So hopefully next show we'll get Dave on. If not, I got some other ideas. Definitely going to be doing a cryptoid show coming soon because we haven't done one yet. I really want to do another UFO episode. There's some stuff I've been researching that I really want to talk about. So we got a lot of cool things coming up. And thank you all you guys watching. I'm going to end the show with my... let's end the show with... last request. That's one I always usually do. I'm going to do that one. So... Thank you guys. Anybody who's listening, I think 3 or 4 or 5 viewers at most I had one time. Sorry if I lost anybody at the beginning because of my problems I had. But, this is what it's about. And again, I can't imagine a medium coming on a show and hitting it on the head like Katrina did. It was amazing. And the evidence that we showed tonight, especially Sandy's pictures, I mean, it's incredible. So guys, next week, July 19th, yeah, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. That's where we're going to be on. We'll keep you posted on Facebook what the next show is going to be about. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Leave your soul behind. All the signs align, and what you don't find. Way where silence holds the day, just the witness with the listening, when times are still, my past no longer will. Never found my fill, roasting chill. What the Christmas.